Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is your daily crypto news for Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. My name is Matt. You can email me at matt@dailycryptonews.net. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please do me a favor. Click those 5 stars. Leave us a comment. And if you're not on Apple or Spotify, but another podcast player, and they have a rating system and a comment, please give us a rating and a comment. And lastly, please do me a favor. If you're a comic book nerd, I have a buddy who has just opened a comic book shop. I'm going to shill his business because I want him to succeed. Go to subscriptioncomics.com. And if you like comic books, subscribe. Check out his books. Very professional. Some of the cheapest prices in the business. Your books are always going to get there intact. Subscriptioncomics.com. And if you want me to introduce you to the person himself, I can do that for you. Just email me, matt@dailycryptonews.net. Bitcoin is having a hell of a rally. And if this is news to you, then you definitely are not paying attention because, wow, Bitcoin rallies to a 16-month high on ETF optimism. And the Fear Greed Index reads grief for the first time since mid-July. The Fear Greed Index is at a 6-month high of 66. We are in full greed mode. And this is all because of the BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF appears on the DTCC website, or the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation website, with the ticker IBTC. Now, this made everybody lose their shit overnight, and price goes up bigly. Basically, Bitcoin and Ethereum added double digits, adding $100 billion to the market. And this is the highest Bitcoin has been since May of last year. Because of that, this move in price, this upward movement in price, resulted in around $310 million in shorts being liquidated in the past 24 hours. Ethereum hasn't been a slouch either in the past 24 hours, reaching its highest point since August. Now, a lot of people aren't just speculating because they are not only knowing that Bitcoin can move in price dramatically. About a year and a half after I started covering Bitcoin, around late 2017, early 2018, Bitcoin had an all-time high after its halving. And it hit around high 19s, about, we'll just call it $20,000. Next all-time high after halving, November 2021, we saw almost $70,000 Bitcoins. We're talking 3x. So we know that this asset can move when it wants to move. What's the next stop? Is it going to be $210,000, 3x of 70? Could even be higher than that. 280, 4x. Who knows? All a lot of speculators know is that they're looking at gold. And when gold hit its first ETF in North America around November of 2004, it surged around 350%. Now, I'm going to have a caveat on this one because that 350% surge was from 2004 until 2011, 2012. So it took some time. You had to have some diamond hands. You had to have been hodling and have some patience to get that 350% gain. But I will say, even in 2008, the financial crisis, gold held its own. Went down just like everything else in the market, but by 2009, it was back up to its highest highs of 2008 levels and continued up from there. So, is it going to operate the same way? Not financial advice. We've already seen massive movements. I think with the Spot Bitcoin ETF, we're going to see some dramatic movements over time. Peter Schiff, who is not a fan of Bitcoin, he X'd or tweeted or whatever you want to call it. Speculators are buying Bitcoin now because they think other speculators are waiting to buy Bitcoin ETFs. They will soon discover that far more speculators are waiting to sell than waiting to buy. Peter, what the hell are you talking about? Because everybody who's hodling Bitcoin, who have bought Bitcoin, are already hodling Bitcoin. And there are people who want to take some profits. Yes, if you bought the $20,000, even $25,000 Bitcoin, $7,000 Bitcoin, or even holding on some early Bitcoin at $100, maybe even $10, you've always been waiting to sell. But the people who are hodling now are either big believers, are speculating on the future price of Bitcoin, and they are not the downward pressure that's going to keep Bitcoin going down. They're not the dump on the market. There is no dump on the market because the institutions, the portfolios, the fund managers are still waiting to buy and expose their clients to Bitcoin in their portfolio. So to say that there's people waiting to dump on the market, that's absolutely crazy, Peter. Where is that Bitcoin waiting to dump? But I will say there's a lot of cash waiting to buy. Coin Bureau, he tweeted, was it BlackRock seeding the ETF or was it speculation of it that's moving this price? We'll see in the past 24 hours, we got a lot of different news. BlackRock was rumored to be buying Bitcoin to seed the ETF. They were also collecting money. They were also getting investment from different investment groups or people or companies, so they can also help seed this ETF. But I haven't found anything to prove that. So was it just speculation that this was happening? So BlackRock now has the ticker IBTC. There's speculation of them buying Bitcoin to seed the ETF. This is all pushing up the price. Well, all of this is not just Bitcoin, because we see memecoin frenzy, we see Pepe up 35.3% in the markets. This is not only because of the Bitcoin ETF speculation and rumors, this is also because Pepe memecoin burns around $5.5 million in tokens. Dogecoin was up 7.8% overnight as well. And Solana, we already said that it was bullish. It was up 25% in 7 days. Well, now click it up over 30% in 7 days. In 24 hours, it just went up 8.5%. So here's the thing. Here's why I'm really bullish on all of this Bitcoin ETF stuff, is I really do think that a lot of people are just holding a lot of cash in one way, shape, or form. And that's because, as Unusual Whales tweeted, cash is now paying higher yields in interest than the stock market does in earnings. If you have cash, if you have it as a savings account, just in a normal savings account, you can get anywhere from 4.8, 4.9, even up to like 5.4% returns. If you have USDC and you have it in Coinbase, they're going to give you 5% just to have it there. If you have a 6-month treasury bill right now, you get around 5.54%. So why would you do anything else but just hodl cash, have cash, and earn, which is now over inflation by around 1.5%, 1.7% over inflation, depending where you have your cash. You are now making a little bit of money on your money, just holding it, waiting to see what happens. And remember, this is risk-free investment. You're not putting in the stock market. There's no ebbs and flows. There's no ups and downs. You're just making that money. And so I think that there's a lot more cash sitting on the sidelines than we actually think. And so if we do get a spot Bitcoin ETF, I feel that we're going to have more people ape into it than we would expect. And it might take a couple months, maybe a year, to see some real big inflows to the spot Bitcoin ETF. But I think there's a lot of people just waiting and sitting there to figure out what they want to do with their money. Even though the S&P 500 is doing well, they don't really have confidence in the markets for some reason. Real estate is a little bit like, what's going on? Are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? Are the price is going to drop? The demand's there, but the supply is not. But is the demand really there because the interest rates are super high? It's super bizarre. Also, commercial real estate, everybody has no clue what's going on with that. Buildings are sitting empty across cities all across the country. Banks are holding properties that are underwater. So it's like, what is going to happen? So I think there's a lot of cash just sitting there trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Maybe this ETF is when some people start parting with some of that cash. Could that be the reason why Cathie Wood sold $5.8 million of Coinbase stock? Coinbase today alone is up 15.5%. It's sitting at around $89 right now, up $12.64. However, I've seen Cathie Wood do this quite a few times. She got out of Coinbase right before a spike, but then Coinbase loses a lot more after that in the next 48 hours or so, or by the end of the week. So let's see how this turns out for Cathie Wood. Maybe she just wanted to get out. She made some profits. She's holding cash to ape into a spot Bitcoin ETF, maybe even her spot Bitcoin ETF. Now let's take a look at those crypto prices across the board.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 10:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The greed went up 1 point since we've been speaking this morning. It's now at 67. Bitcoin sitting at $34,443, up 12.5% in 24, 21.7 in 7. Ethereum's at $1,830, up 9.5% in 24. I haven't seen gains like this in a minute. Tether is number 3. Binance is at $230, up 5.3%. And XRP is at 57.6 cents, up 9.4% in 24, or 17.9 in 7. Rounding off the top 10, we have USDC, Solana, up 8.6% in 24, or 33.5% in 7. Cardano is number 8, Dogecoin is number 9, and Tron is number 10. The total market cap is up 9.5% in 24 at 1.27 trillion. The 24-hour volume is up 125% in 24, and our Bitcoin dominance is sitting at around 53%. ETH is at 17.3. That was our show today. Very, very bullish day, but be careful. I have never seen big gains like this without dramatic pullbacks, but then again, you never know. We could have a spot Bitcoin ETF tomorrow and then we're off to the races. So again, just be careful and happy hodling, everyone.